Hello, everyone, and welcome to the studios here at Culpeper Media Network. My name is Jonathan Krawchuk, and it is my pleasure to welcome a familiar face and a new face to learn more about some upcoming events for the aging in our community. Joining us today are two amazing individuals. We will start with the young lady closest to me, Jeannie Snyder. I'm going to have to look down at my notes real quick because I do not want to get this wrong. You are the Community Executive Director for the Central and Western Virginia chapter of the Alzheimer's Association.
Excellent. Yes, I am.
That's why I took notes. Jeannie, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, the young lady on the far side, Miss Ellen Phipps, Executive Director of Aging Together. Yes. Ellen, it is a pleasure to see you once again.
And likewise, thanks for having us.
All right, so ladies, again, thank you so much for coming in today. It's always nice to work with people who are trying to make a difference in our community. Now, Jeannie, we have an interesting group of events coming up. First off, I want to say that these events coming up you guys are working together. Your organizations are working together with this. So first off, let's talk about the forum that's coming up on November 8th. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, well, we are co-hosting with Aging Together, our forum for the Alzheimer's Association as well. And that is going to be Wednesday, November 8th from 10 to noon p.m. at the Culpeper County Library.
So when you say forum, what exactly does that mean?
So this is an opportunity for us to get together with people in their communities, educate them a little bit about Alzheimer's and the effects and some of the things that are on the horizon, but really to listen to them as a community and figure out where we could be better, how we can serve our community better. So it's really an opportunity for us to listen to the community. So we're really looking forward to it.
I mean, that makes sense. If every community is different. I mean, obviously Alzheimer's takes many different forms, but the communities that you operate in are all different. So what are some things, I mean, you've done a few of these before. So when you have forums like this, what kind of feedback do you hear that's basically, that is relevant to that community? I mean, how different can the feedback be? I guess is the question.
Well, let me start by saying, so when you receive a cancer diagnosis, you're given packets of information, piles and piles, to go home and digest and figure out how you want to proceed. When you receive an Alzheimer's or dementia diagnosis, you're really given nothing, and there's not much of a roadmap. So as an organization, we are really trying to expand our outreach, and as the community exec, I move in the communities and work with people and make sure that we're increasing awareness. So that's one piece of it, but how do we do that? And every community is different, and especially some of our more rural communities, we're asking, how do we reach people? How do we reach them? How can we be better? What can we do differently?
Well, let me ask a general question. When we talk about, you mentioned when you get the diagnosis, you're just kind of, here you are.
Right.
What are some things that, if I just recently had a diagnosis or had a family member who was diagnosed, what are some of the initial things that I need to know?
Well, I mean, some of the things are just knowing what's out there on the horizon, knowing the services, making sure that there's support for your caregiver, which we do. We do support groups and things like that some people don't know anything about. So it's accessing those support groups in the different communities and knowing where to find them. It's making sure you have access to maybe be in a clinical trial. Maybe for your certain situation, there's not as much out there for you, but if you can get into a clinical trial with our association, that's really helpful for you possibly and for research.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong because it happens quite a bit. It is my understanding that over the past, more recent years, there have been significant developments in the treatment of Alzheimer's. Is that a correct statement? I know you just finished up a few walks, and I know the money goes towards research and development. I mean, are we making progress? And if so, how much? Where are we at?
We have never had so much hope on the horizon that we do now. We've got 2 FDA-approved drugs, and for the first time, this organization, no, we don't have a cure, but we have drugs that prolong the disease, prolong the effects of the disease so that people can be independent longer, stay in their home longer, attend graduations, things like that, things that we've never been able to offer. So, and we've got over 100 drugs in clinical trials, so it gives us a lot of hope that there will be a cure someday soon. But right now, just having 2 FDA-approved drugs has really turned our organization into a treatment phase. We're finally in a treatment phase of this disease, so that's very exciting.
And I know all the work that you, the staff, Alzheimer's Association across the country is working tirelessly. I know for a fact, Heck, Ellen, we've had you in this seat with the Alzheimer's Association before.
Yes, it's true.
And the work then is leading to the successes now, and the work today is pushing towards the future.
I think it's really exciting to hear Jeannie speak about the new treatments because, I mean, only as short as like 5 years ago when I was at the association myself, we couldn't say that. You know, you really, you know, we used to tell people that there are no disease modifying drugs, so that the medications that were out there, they could maybe help some of the symptoms in some of the people some of the time. But the fact that now you can actually delay the progression of the disease is really, that's very new and that's very exciting.
So I love the key word that you said, and that we've said probably for years, is hope. And that's exactly what we're trying to give. And when folks have that diagnosis or they have a family member, the hope is not always noticeable when that happens. And then there are organizations like Aging Together and the Alzheimer's Association to give them hope, to give them a sense of direction and what to do next. So I'm assuming that if folks have general questions regarding Alzheimer's, they can reach out to your website, or do you want to give your personal cell phone number?
Absolutely. No, we do. Yes, we have our website, which is www.alts.org. We also have a 24/7 hotline, and that's 800-272-3900. You can call Christmas Eve, you can call tonight, you can call tomorrow morning. We have trained staff, caregivers, to take in those calls and really help people get the support that they need, especially caregivers during this troubling time.
So on November the 8th, from 10 to noon at the Culpeper County Library is the forum that we're speaking about right now. What exactly can we expect for the day?
Well, we're going to have George Worthington there, who is the chief dementia specialist out of DARS. So he's going to be our speaker. It's going to be for 2 hours. We're lucky enough to really be piggybacking on an event that Aging Together is doing. They were so nice to include us. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Sure, yeah. Well, it just seemed to make so much sense when Jeannie reached out to me and said, you know, we'd like to do a forum in the Culpeper community and hear from folks in Culpeper. And I know my wheels started spinning immediately, and I thought, well, you know, we've got this dementia conference, our annual dementia education conference planned, and that's another great partnership, by the way. That is not just Aging Together doing it, but we have, I'm almost afraid to start listing everybody because I don't want to leave anybody out, but a lot of local agencies are represented in the Piedmont Dementia Education Committee. And we've done this conference for years now, 10, 12 years now that we've done this. So on November 9th, the day after the forum, we have an all-day conference from 9 a.m. till 3:15 at Pepper's Grill right here in Culpeper, right off 29, real easy to find. Last year we were a little bit harder to find. We were kind of out there in the middle of nowhere. Hopefully we'll be a little bit easier to find. And we have a full schedule of some nationally recognized speakers. We've got Dr. Arovich coming back by popular demand. He's the guy. Last year he brought real brains that had been impacted by disease that he had with him. He's at Eastern Medical University. I don't think he's allowed to do that anymore.
That may have been one time.
But he's bringing something similar. Like, I don't know if they're going to be like fake brains or just encased or something like that. But he is doing that again. And so we're really excited about that. And then we have some folks who will be talking about strategies for caregivers. Like, how do you communicate? How do you help someone who might be experiencing dementia get to the table for lunch? Like, for example, I'll just tell you this very brief story about my dad when he had Alzheimer's in the last 4 or 5 years of his life. And I was visiting with him down in San Antonio at a facility where he was living. And it was time to go to lunch. And I said, come on, Dad, let's go to lunch. And he had his leather gloves on and he had his hat on. And it was like 98 degrees in the shade, And I'm thinking, how is he going to eat lunch with these bulky gloves on? And I knew better. I did know better, but I said, Dad, come on, take the gloves off. And he was like getting agitated, and he started getting angry. Now you listen to me, back off kind of thing. And so I said, okay. So I said, well, come on, let's go to lunch, and get up, and we pass the bathroom. And I thought, oh, my dad was a doctor, hygiene, top of his list. I said, hey, Dad, did you want to wash your hands before lunch? And he goes, absolutely. He takes off the gloves. He goes in and washes his hands.
Strategy.
And so there's a strategy, but that's just an example of, the tendency, if you don't have the knowledge, the tendency is to say,
correct.
To correct. Mm-hmm. Take off those gloves. You don't need them, no, don't tell me to, how to do that. Or don't tell me what to do or whatever. So you learn ways of getting around that, and it can just make everyone's life so much easier.
Well, I appreciate you sharing, but it really goes to the point of, it affects everybody differently.
Yes.
And when you get that diagnosis, or when you see maybe warning signs of Alzheimer's or dementia, it affects everyone differently, but there are underlying tones, strategies, if you will, that can help you as a caregiver move forward. I mean, we've sat in this chair before. We've talked about being a caregiver means also taking care of yourself.
Right.
And that means informing yourself, understanding what's going on, and making sure that you can be the best caregiver possible to the person you're caring for. I want to back up a little bit and talk. You were mentioning about the community partnerships with everybody, but this one in particular, between the Alzheimer's Association and Aging Together, obviously it works very, very well. But what does it mean to have that partnership and to be able to work together towards this common goal?
I think it's been incredible to be in Culpeper, and it's a community that I don't feel like we've spent a lot of time in recently. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we are really fortunate to have, and the timing of this is incredible, but we had our international conference this summer in Amsterdam, and we had lots of wonderful things come out of there. But one of the things is, for the first time ever, we've been able to map the incidence of Alzheimer's and other dementia across the country and look at the percentages. And we're seeing a much higher percentage in more rural areas, lower socioeconomic, things like that. So it's really, from a public health perspective, a great opportunity for us to look at these communities throughout our country and figure out, like I said, how do we reach them? How do we reach people? Mm-hmm. So here we are in a community that we haven't been in for a really long time. So I just feel like it's really parallel to the work of that coming out too, is just making sure that we're getting to as many communities. And it's hard sometimes. It's hard. We don't have necessarily the bandwidth or the people, but it's very important that we make sure that we're there, and we hopefully can meet volunteers and people that can help us with our community programming and educating. But I think it's a really great opportunity for us, and hopefully we'll be able to, our hope is that there's people that are going to learn some things, people are going to know more about our resources, and maybe people that will reach out to us for questions. And if we have those things, that's a win.
Ellen?
Yeah, well, I think it's, as Jeannie said, they haven't really been much in the community, and Aging Together is very much a local, grassroots kind of, bottoms up kind of an organization, and very well connected in our region. And so it made sense for us to kind of partner and to kind of piggyback on, the networking and the connections that Aging Together has. Aging Together has kind of tried to fill some gaps where needed, but it makes so much sense for the association. I mean, they're the experts. They have the expertise in a lot of the programming and a lot of the resources that they have. So just, again, also for Aging Together, I mean, that's what we're about too, is connecting people to resources. Mm-hmm. And so I think it just makes so much sense on all those levels.
It's really a partnership, a perfect partnership. Here you are filling the gaps that each organization may have. And then by working together, you're just going to achieve more either way. So again, I want to go back to the event itself. Jeannie, if we're looking at the forum, and you had me in an elevator for 45 seconds, what is the most important thing you want me to know, and why I should attend the forum coming up on November 8th?
There will be information about Alzheimer's and other dementias for families and caregivers that maybe they don't have or they don't know of. It will be an opportunity to learn about our services for both organizations. and an opportunity to talk about what they'd like to see more of or what they're not having right now in these communities, especially this one.
Very good point. Now, Ellen, after the forum is concluded on November 8th, your dementia strategy, Dementia Toolbox, is coming up the very next day on November 9th.
Yeah.
Now, if I am a caregiver or I just want some more information, what is the most important thing you want to let me know? Why should I attend?
Well, the main reason you should attend is because knowing what to do and how to deal with this disease does not come naturally. It's not intuitive. And so come and learn strategies to help to make your life easier and the person you're caring for easier.
Sounds like you two have done this before. All right, so again, with the partnership, if folks want to register, they want more information, they can reach out to Aging Together through their website, which is agingtogether.org.
Agingtogether.org, that's right. We wanted to make it just really easy for people, easy access. So for both programs, oh, and by the way, I should mention that the forum is free. It's absolutely free of charge. And so anybody is welcome to come to the forum. You can turn up on the day of, but we would prefer to register, pre-register, so we can get, a head count. That would be really helpful. But it is absolutely free. The conference, there is a minimal fee of $25 to attend the conference. However, if that's a hardship for anybody, we do offer scholarships.
Okay. And if someone wanted just more information regarding those, they reach out to you.
Yeah.
Whether it be by phone, email, or...
That's right. Come to agingtogether.org and you'll see right on the homepage where to register for either the forum, the conference, or both.
Both.
Both, hopefully.
Both. Absolutely, both.
Yes.
Well, I would think because of this partnership and what the topic is, I think it's a perfect opportunity for a 1-2 punch. It really is a great chance to provide feedback, get some additional information, and then have the tools to be able to move forward in a better direction. As you said, it's not like taking, what was the word you used? I'm sorry. It's not instinctual.
It's not intuitive. It's not intuitive.
Right,
it's just not intuitive, right? People, you don't like get a diagnosis of something like this and then intuitively know what to do. And I think that's really key because people feel badly or they try talking to the person like you would talk to anybody, like don't do that. Or you try to reason. We know that reasoning doesn't really work. Correcting doesn't work. Confrontation is not good. It's going to create more barriers. And so to have the best possible results for easy communication and to get things done, you can learn strategies. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah, and I think it's learning to meet people where they are. You need to meet them where they are. It's not expecting them to be where you are and know the right or wrong, or if they repeat their story, or my father has the disease and he's in the mid stages and he repeats things and asks me the same question over and over on our Zoom calls. But that's part of this disease, and being accepting of that and not making him feel bad is really important.
Well, as we're talking about these strategies and giving individuals hope towards being a caregiver, I think it's also important to realize that what we've just talked about are strategies that you've learned and recognized that other people haven't. Or maybe they feel like, I don't know, maybe there's some sort of stigma against asking for help. This is not what we want people to come away with. It is important to reach out and understand that there are, unfortunately, thousands dealing with this every single day. And there are people who understand and want to help you.
Yes, and I will say there's so many people out there that are dealing with this in silence and behind closed doors, and they do not even know the services that we have and that we provide. And I think it's just so important to make sure that people do and that they're not alone. And, unfortunately, we won't get as many of these people, but I will say there's plenty of people where this disease is not on their radar screen. And if it's not on their radar screen now, it will be. So it's also trying to get in front of communities where it's not on their radar screen and making sure we spread awareness.
Well, anytime you want to do something like that, we're here to help.
Thank you.
Well, Ellen, Jeannie, I appreciate you coming in. Is there anything else that we haven't spoken about that we want to make sure we leave folks with today?
The only thing I would like to say is that we offer a variety of programs. It's free programming, so it's not just community programming like support groups and things like that, but we go into companies. There's lots of companies that their employees are dealing with it. They're in that sandwich generation where they're taking care of a loved one, a parent, but then they also have families of their own, and we have programs like knowing the 10 signs and knowing how to manage money. And so there's a lot of things like that that we can do on a corporate level as well to reach more people.
And the only thing I'll add is that thank you, Culpeper, because we started our dementia-friendly Culpeper, educating businesses and restaurants right here in Culpeper, and we are now up to about 50 restaurants and businesses in Culpeper. It's been an overwhelming response. And again, it's about raising awareness and having people feel comfortable welcoming wherever they go. Patrons that are living with dementia that want to go out to eat or go to a business, it's about raising awareness, training the staff so that they understand how to communicate and make everybody feel welcome into their communities. But Culpeper, it's been incredible. Response.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I have been noticing more and more the dementia-friendly businesses and the little sticker that's on the door out front.
That's right.
And I was like, I think I know who's behind that.
Yes.
Well, ladies, I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate what you're offering to the community. Again, I would like to make sure that folks are aware. Your forum again, November 8th, from 10 to noon at Culpeper County Library, free of charge.
Yes.
Basically getting community feedback to make sure that you can do your job as well as possible.
Yes, yes.
I'm glad it was succinct.
You nailed it.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. And again, the next day, November 9th, and it's from, what do you say, 9 to 3:15, $25 per person, Dementia Toolkit, basically covering the entirety of things that we talked about today.
That's absolutely true. Yes. And lunch will be provided and breakfast at the conference as well.
Well, then,
included in that. Yeah.
And that's only $25 per person.
That's correct.
And you did mention if that is a problem, you could reach out and there might be scholarships available.
And please, I mustn't forget to thank the sponsors of the conference, because we could not put it on without them. So thank you to Culpeper Wellness Foundation. Thank you to, and I never say this right, I'm sorry, UVA Culpeper Health, right?
UVA Health Culpeper?
That's it. It's close. But we're grateful. We're grateful for their sponsorship, and also geriatric training and education at VCU. So we could not put on the conference at the price and include the food, breakfast and lunch and snacks and everything, and pay the speakers. We couldn't do it without their support. So we're grateful to our sponsors.
You gotta love a community partnership.
Yeah.
It's how things get done. Well, ladies, again, thank you for taking the time. Hopefully we'll see you both in the very near future so we can all help out make a better Culpeper.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my
Thanks.
pleasure. And of course, thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, please use the information that we've talked about here today to enroll in one or actually both of the programs coming up on November 8th and 9th. It's a unique opportunity to learn more about Alzheimer's, dementia, how to be a better caregiver, and just learn about all the services that are provided to our community, whether through the Alzheimer's Association or from Aging Together. Again, reach out to register for one or both of the events at info@agingtogether.org. Log on to the website at agingtogether.org or give them a call, 540-829-6405. Until we see you at the forum on November 8th or the Dementia Toolkit on November 9th, we hope you have a great day and, of course, a better tomorrow.